Okay, so we're going to talk about irregular verbs today, very briefly. Okay, so far, what are the two tenses we've dealt with? Present and imperfect, good. Okay, so let's talk about the present tense first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of list, let's do it this way. So the first verb we're going to talk about is wolo. Do we remember the principal parts for it? To want, wolo, wele, wolui, good. Okay, and that means what? To want. Okay. So the infinitive form is just wele. Okay. Now in the present tense, it's just going to be the following. Okay, so it's wolo, wis, wolt, wolumus, woltis, wolunt. All right, can everyone say that with me? Wolo, wis, wolt, wolumus, woltis, wolunt. Let's do it one more time. Wolo, wis, wolt, wolumus, woltis, wolunt. Okay. Now, if you notice, right, remember that silly little song, O or M means I, S means you, T means he, she, or it, mus means we, tis means y'all, and n means they. Okay, the pattern still is the same, just the front of the verb is a little different. Like it's kind of weird. There's no regular pattern, and that's why this is an irregular verb. Okay, so that's the present tense. All right, and I'll do the imperfect. Let's actually get rid of this. We'll do it verb by verb instead. Okay, so that's the present. Now let's do the imperfect. Okay, so now remember, imperfect sheep, right? We call that the wasing whirring because every translation has to have a wasing or a whirring in it. All right, imperfect sheep go what? They go ba, right? And if you notice, the endings are just the same. Bam, bas, bat, bamus, batis, and bant. Okay? But the front of the word is just weird. So far, are we all right? Yes, question. That's not a coincidence, because if you think about, well, yeah, maybe it is. I actually don't know how they come up with these forms. They're just irregular, and I was always taught that you just need to memorize the irregular ones. Okay, so that was Wolo. Let's do another. Whoops. Any questions so far? No? Okay. The next is Nolo. Do we know the forms for that? Nolo, yep. Nolo, nole, no lui, meaning to not want. Okay, so similarly, these are going to be irregular. All right, I am going to include here an imperative of these, though. All right, so to say do not want to one person, you would simply say no li. And to say it to more than one person, you would simply say no li te. Okay, I'm actually going to scroll, sorry. Okay, so now let's do the present. Mm-hmm. An imperative is just a command. So if I want to tell you to do something like study, right, that's an imperative, right? So noli and nolite, like do not want or want. Technically, there is no real subject because you would use the vocative instead. Because it's I'm directly talking to you. So like, oh Lisa, silly. No. Oh Lisa, sit. Right? Yeah. So you're technically kind of addressed, but there is no like subject per se. Okay. Now this is a little weird, just because some of them have double, like two words. It's non vis and non vult and non vultus. Okay, that's a little strange, but it's simply just negating want. Right, so just be able to recognize, be able to recognize that. But again, the endings are pretty regular. It's just the front of the words that are kind of wonky and weird. Okay, now what's nice about this is it's going to follow the similar pattern of wolo. So in the imperfect, it's going to be the same stem. So just nole and then our imperfect endings. Okay. All right, and then we just got our imperfects, bomba, spot, bomus, batis, and bont. All right. So far, so good? Okay. Let's do another verb. There's only two more that we have to do this for. Okay, so the next verb is our fave. Ferro. What's the next part? Ferre. Tuli. Yes. Latos. Good. Okay, and what does that mean? To bring Carrie Bear. Yes. Okay. Now I'll give you the imperative for these as well. All right, if I want to say carry it to one person, I would just say fair. Okay, and if I want to say it to more than one, it would just be ferte. Do you guys remember the weird imperatives? You're on the right track. Yeah, dik duk fak fair. You want to know how to remember that? Dick, Duke, Fock, Fair, Julius Caesar has no hair. Can you say that? Dick, Duke, Fock, Fair, Julius Caesar has no hair. All right, so those are just irregular imperatives. Fair is one of those. Okay, right? Dick means to say, Duke, lead, Fock, make, Fair, bring. Okay, those are all imperatives. This is just one of them. I just figured I'd bring that up because I remember Tiffany was complaining about it last year because she was saying it on the sailing dock every day. Good. That's a good thing. Glad it was stuck in your head. That means I'm doing my job. All right, so now let's go through and we'll do these in the present and the imperfect. Okay, so it's just feros, fers, fert, ferimus, fertis, ferunt. All right, now the endings are pretty regular, but as I said, sorry, I highlighted too much. Mustis, and the front of the word is going to be weird. All right, and then we'll do the imperfect. And it's going to be the same stem for all of these, just with the imperfect endings. Mm-hmm. Ferimus, yeah. Oops. Okay. Now again, the imperfect endings are pretty regular. The stem is just going to be weird. Okay. And really the deal with these is just you need to memorize the forms. Okay, we're almost there. We've got one more to do. Yes, they are all irregular. Yep, and we only just did 4 verbs. There are 4 irregulars. No, there are other irregulars too, but these are like the big ones that they kind of want to introduce to you. Okay. All right, so we've got eo ire. What are the last two? Eo ire, iwi itis. Good, yeah. And it means to go. Good. All right, so I'll give you the imperatives for these as well. If I want to tell Tiffany to go, I just say, hey, Tiffany, E. Oh, I should write imperative, actually. Sorry. But if I want to tell everybody in the Latin classroom to go, I say, hey, everybody, ite. Okay. Now let's go through the present. Yes. Essentially, yes. Yep. Good question. All right. So in the present, again, the endings are going to be pretty regular, but there's really not much to the stem because this is a short verb form, which is what makes it kind of weird. Okay. Now, in the imperfect, it's simply the same. It's an I plus my imperfect endings, so ibam, bas, bat, so on and so forth. Okay. And that's it for our irregular verbs, at least for now. Are there any questions? Okay, what's one other irregular verb that we didn't address today? That's most commonly irregular in other Romance languages as well. Sum esse fui futurus. All right, and in most other Romance languages, this will be irregular as well. Do we want to go over the present and imperfect forms of these two just for good measure? Like very briefly? It'll be super quick. Okay. I don't think there are imperatives. At least I'm not sure that there are. Okay, sum es est, sumus estis sunt. Okay, and then in the imperfect, it's pretty simple. There's no bomb, though, unfortunately. It's iram, eras, erat, eramos. I think that's macron, yeah. Eratis, erant. Okay, and this is just to be. Okay. So that's pretty good. All right, pretty good review. All right. Any questions on our irregulars? No? Okay, so your homework is going to be twofold. All right, means I'm going to be looking for two things from you. Two things. The first thing is I'd like to finish the chapter 17 story. Okay, so mark up and translate the chapter 17 story. And then once you're done with that, just kind of review these forms that we wrote down today. Just look over them, start to internalize them, all right, start to maybe memorize them as well. Yes, I can, I'm sorry. We may have a check, we may not. I'd like to have a check. What I might do is I might have you guys sort them. Like I'll give you a Word box with all of these words jumbled up and you have to order them correctly. Which isn't that bad. Okay, any questions on what to expect for Thursday? So mark up, translate, chapter 17, and then look over these forms for like a quick check on them. Okay.